My name is Lara Lavi, and I'm a singer-songwriter.
Riding shotgun in your shiny new car. I thought would make you happy. Look how far we've come.
She has a lot of adventure in her. She makes things happen. She's a rainmaker.
She's totally current. She's really driven.
I see her as a heartfelt singer-songwriter.
And when she gets an idea in her head, she goes right with it. She's not stubborn. She just has a goal that she likes to reach.
She's just an innovator, a ray of light, you know. She just makes things happen.
I've been on stage with her. I've been in meetings with her. Been to concerts with her. All I can say is that I'm so happy that she is being extremely successful right now. And all I can hope is that the best may come.
Finish Line is the title track of the album. Finish Line is about, you know, when you're on the journey and you finally get to a place where you realize the destination has to be what you define as the destination. So for me, Finish Line is about running to my own finish line. This thing that happens in a person's life, and I've seen it happen to 20-year-olds, I've seen it happen to 10-year-olds.
I'm a long distance runner, baby, running out of time, trying to figure out my own finish line.
You're standing there and the entire world is saying turn right, and you know you gotta turn left. Gordon and I became best friends the day we met. My Hebrew name is Zipporah, which means songbird. He generally calls me Zipporah, and that's what he's trying to talk to me as an artist. And he met me as a businesswoman. We're walking down the street in New York City and my son Cameron is with us. And Cameron went up to Gordon because they were walking ahead of me, and Cameron turned to Gordon and said, "You better take care of my mommy. Don't upset her. She's been through enough," you know. And I think Gordon took that to heart. Gordon reactivated the artist in me. We're in the studio and they're playing. Gordon's in the control room. You know, he's got headphones on and he's banging away on his computer and this little keyboard thing, and Danny shows up with all these instruments, right? And one of them is this little mini guitar, and he starts playing this riff.
I see the wind.
And it was like electrifying. So I go run and I get the lyrics and I go, okay, keep playing that over and over and over again, you know. And when we played it live, people were just mesmerized because it sounds so Americana and dark, and it's about, you know, regret and remembering a relationship you had that you let go because it wasn't good for you, but you wish you didn't have to. And it's little memories burning holes in my head.
Little memories, take back what I said.
I feel like the music has these universal human emotions that everybody's familiar with, and from a space of genuineness.
I'm gonna open my eyes.
Mark Cardenas, I think, is the soul of the band. You know, he figures out things. He understands chordally what I'm about. He listens very carefully to what I'm singing. We would not be this group. He and I have recorded a lot over the years, and we formed the Songcatchers together, and we have been through hell and back together, and I wouldn't feel safe being in a project without Mark. Mark gets me. Well, Scott is, you know, he's a rocker at heart. A singer is always very tied to the drummer. You know, I might not hear anything else on stage, but I can hear the drums and they'll keep me going. And all singers that I know are always very connected to their drummer, and, you know, Scott and I are no exception. And Scott's got a lot going on, right? Because he's an entrepreneur. He's working on his iPhone app, My Beep Beep, and in bringing him in, you know, to work with Gordon and work with the band, I think I've generated in him, you know, a renaissance of love for the craft of songwriting and recording and performing, and he's having a great time.
When I do, I will pay you back tenfold.
I came home after 6 years living in Canada, working in Canada. I really felt lost during that time. It affected my health, it affected my spirit, it affected my family. The tenfold will always take me back to that place of just literally prayer. I called my son and I had him sit at the piano next to me, and I just started to freestyle these lyrics. And as I wrote this set of lyrics, and I really didn't even have it quite down what the piano part was going to be, I saw that my son was welling up with tears, and I knew that both of us really understood how hard things were. Months later, I ended up sitting down with Mark Cardenas and Danny Mangold, and we sat in Mark's studio at his place, and I just kept singing this over and over again, and they came together with these guitar and keyboard parts that just fit exactly the emotion of that song, and it turned into Tenfold.
You give me a safe harbor, even though I got nothing to give you back. Truth is, I'm a little short right now, till I get myself back on track.
Found myself tracking more with headphones on, eyes closed, and Laura's voice just on a scratch vocal, and just let the music kind of naturally find a part.
Danny's crazy, okay? And as soon as you know he's crazy, and you know he's just full of energy and creativeness and opinions, and sometimes he just starts running with an opinion but he doesn't know where he's going with it, you know, none of that matters, because when you start writing with Danny or you play on stage with Danny, you might give him an idea where you want him to go. You don't tell him what to play. You bring Danny in because you want him to play what he thinks he should play. And our energy on stage is phenomenal. People come away and they go, man, you're a guitar player. Who's that guy? He's amazing. Danny Mangold is, he's a very special good heart, and I will love him till the day I die. You know, he's a good, good man.
Mark and Danny have been doing a lot of work together. They got a real synergy and energy. But a lot of times they're at that point where they can take it only so far. It just takes another ear to come in, smooth something out, an arrangement or something, towards the process where they have the pieces and help them glue all the pieces together. It's all about, you know, the explosiveness of what you're trying to do, you know, and being able to let people do what they do, and also you can have this great thing happen at the end of the day.
My husband is a record producer in his own right. He's a composer and a songwriter in his own right. We've written a lot of songs together. We wrote Living on the Other Side of Anger together. The thing about Maurice is that he's been playing instruments, guitar and bass and keys, since he was 8 years old, and he can play. There isn't anyone better than him in my world. We were friends for a long time before we were romantic, and, you know, he is my soulmate. Living on the Other Side of Anger is definitely a song I think a lot of people, men and women, are going to relate to, because this myth that soulmates are people who have wings and float off to heaven together, because that's wrong. Soulmates are about two people that find each other, and that doesn't necessarily make life easy. Marriage is a lot of work. Marriage is the hardest job you'll ever have, right? It's so much easier to break up than it is to stay together. It's because being your soulmate doesn't necessarily mean, you know, it's all, you know, fairy tales and glitter and gold. I've spent a lifetime coaching other people in their careers, and I've had to take a step back and say, okay, Lara, what would you do if you were advising you? And I'm a realist also, so I know what's entailed in getting from A to B, and yeah, there's a lot of money involved and a lot of connections, a lot of the right politics. But my theory about this project is, and how I would advise myself now, which is, I guess is what I'm doing, is I'm going to stop thinking about money and politics and strategy and maneuvering and who we have to suck up to for this and that, and I'm just going to get about as pure about this art as I can right now, because the only thing that matters to me at this stage in my life is that I take all that noise out of my head with everyone literally constantly saying to me, turn right, Lara, turn right, take the road off and travel. It's time for me and this amazing band that's been with me for so long, and finally turn left and just do what this music has us meant to do.
Step across this line. I'm a long distance runner, baby, running out of time, trying to figure out my own finish line. I'm a long distance runner, baby, running out of time, trying to figure out my own finish line. My own finish line. My own finish line. My own